Is yet another frigid day in Ohio. I got snow falling all around me. Check that out. No, I know it's not a lot of snow, but it's snow nonetheless, and it is cold. I'm about to head to train with Jeremy. Show you some of that. I had my breakfast. I have my pre-workout carbs with the Rice Krispies, and I have my BCAAs, bench workout. After the movie, gonna get some food, come back home. After the gym, I'm gonna get some food, come back home, walk the dog, and then go back out to see Dune Part 2. Super excited about that. And I'll probably film a little bit after the gym, just me driving around, but I'm gonna get to it, and I'll see you guys later. Alright, so training went really well today. It is still very cold outside, but my physique is coming in well, and that's according to my coach, not just myself. But yeah, I got about 3.5 hours before I have to head out for Dune. Again, super pumped about that, like you have no idea. I'm gonna go get some Chipotle, and before you come out here and criticize me for this, I make it the cleanest Chipotle ever. There ain't no cheese. It's just chicken, beans, and vegetables. So, pro tip, but they actually have a nutrition calculator on their website that lets you know the macro breakdown completely. So it's like 41 grams of protein, 32 grams of carbohydrates, and I think like 9 or 10 grams of fat, what I ordered. I get the romaine lettuce with chicken, black beans, fajita veggies, the mild tomatillo sauce, the green one, and then I throw extra lettuce on top. Clean. And I'm not particularly worried about sodium intake right now. I sweat a lot of it out. I'm a very active person outside of the gym. I walk the dog a lot. I cycle a lot, so not particularly worried about sodium intake right now. And I drink a lot of fluids, so I get it out of my system too. I drink well over a gallon of water a day. But yeah, that's my day today. Pretty easy one. Going to the Arnold tomorrow. Super excited about that. I'm only going Friday. I wanted to go the whole weekend, but wasn't able to because I still have a life to live. But yeah, let's see how that goes. What else is going on? Oh, I didn't get to use my actual Sony camera in the gym, which irritated the hell out of me, but I forgot my SD card. So that's iPhone footage. If it's lower in quality than the previous gym vlog, that is why. Not a morning person. I typically forget things in the morning. What else? I mean, that's pretty much it for me. I'm gonna get this footage edited and uploaded hopefully by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow I will again be heading out to the Arnold. I'll film some of that and get that uploaded Saturday, hopefully, if not Saturday, Sunday. Hoping to meet some people at the Arnold and get some snaps with them. I know that Greg Doucette's supposed to be there. I think Mike Ezratel's supposed to be there. Obviously, you got the Sam Sulik and C-Bum, but you're gonna have to pay for photos with them. I don't know why my phone doesn't want to stay upright today. It was fine for me the other day. But, yeah, you gotta pay for photos with those guys. And, I'm really just hoping to catch people walking around so I can, not have to shell out $50 for a photo. Not that they're not worth it. Their time is valuable, and I understand that, and I'm not holding anything against them. It's just, rather not have to spend $50 on it if I don't have to. But yeah, I don't have much else going on right now. Just trying to get this stuff out there, get my name out there a little bit, try to figure out what my market niche is. I think that's it for me for now. I'll talk to you guys later. Alright, so got done with my 30 minutes of cardio, took the dog for a walk, and I saw Dune Part 2. And I got this cool collector's cup from it. But I wanted to give you my quick impressions of the movie. before I say goodbye, I'm gonna get up early tomorrow, work out, and then leave for the Arnold. It's about 2 hours and 15 minutes or something from my house. So gonna do some filming there, but Dune Part 2, fantastic movie. I'm a huge fan of this director. Not even gonna try to pronounce his name. I won't get it right. I have a problem pronouncing words like ask correctly without stretching out the S. I had to make a conscious effort not to stretch it out, but I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name. I'm a huge fan of his work. Blade Runner 2049 is one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. I love the first Dune. I basically love everything he's ever made, that I've seen anyway. It's interesting because I've heard him compared to Stanley Kubrick, and I think that comparison is justified for a multitude of reasons. But one of them is that the first popular movie that this guy put out, and again, I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name, was a movie called Enemy. And it was a film about a man dealing with infidelity and his temptations and infidelity. And the last movie that Stanley Kubrick put out was about that exactly, Eyes Wide Shut. It was about Tom Cruise dealing with infidelity and stumbling upon a sex cult. But both those movies are actually very, very similar. So I find it interesting on that level that it gets compared to Kubrick because they kind of had an inverse with that. Because Enemy was at the beginning of this guy's career, and Eyes Wide Shut was at the very end of Stanley Kubrick's career. He died before it released. So I find that interesting. But on another level that they're similar, they both excel in sci-fi, but whatever. There's a ton of directors that excel in sci-fi. So what I think is a fair point to bring up in comparison is that they both excel in whatever genre they attempt to make a film in, and they both kind of set a standard. Kubrick did that with 2001. He did that with The Shining. Certainly with Full Metal Jacket. And then you had this guy with Arrival. That certainly set a standard. And then Blade Runner 2049, Dune. Those are all in the same genre, but you also had him with Sicario. And you also had him with Prisoners and the aforementioned Enemy. So both of them can enter any genre and seemingly master it immediately, which is another reason I think they're very similar or very comparable. But getting to Dune itself, Dune Part 2, my first impression of it is that if you look up science fiction movies or you look up movies like Star Wars, you're going to get the same list of movies. And a lot of them have a lot of things in common. There's similarities between Star Wars and Star Trek, though those fans will get into massive debates about that, and both will criticize each other's camps. I'm not here to get involved in that. I don't give a crap. But there are similarities between those two films. And if you look up sci-fi movies or movies to watch if you like Star Wars, you're going to get Dune Part 1 and Part 2. And while I'm not saying you won't like either of the Dune movies, it's not a one-to-one comparison, certainly. Dune is actually more like Mad Max. It's deliberately ugly. It's deliberately cruel. There's nothing in it that's pretty. The spaceships look like bugs. The uniforms that the soldiers wear look like bugs or scaly reptilian creatures. There's nothing pretty in the movie. The movie is intentionally as ugly as it can possibly be, like Mad Max. So to compare it with other science fiction movies like Star Wars and Star Trek, I don't really think is fair. because it's a totally different beast. Again, like Mad Max, it's about humanity. It's about the worst part of humanity. Humanity being wrung down to its absolute most animalistic, most inhumane. Um, with both Mad Max and Dune, you have the elevation of a deity figure, and you have the creation of like cults and various religious sects. So I don't think you can really compare it to Star Wars or Star Trek. Those movies have things in them that are beautiful. The Millennium Falcon is a beautiful ship. The Enterprise is a beautiful ship. Hoth is a beautiful planet. Coruscant is a beautiful planet. There is literally nothing in Dune that is beautiful, and it's meant to be that way. It's meant to be ugly and bleak. It's meant to be the utter destruction of humanity. So that was a side rant, but I just wanted to get that out of the way real quick. The theme of Dune 2 is really interesting. I'm going to try to explain this without notes. The way I look at it is it's commenting on mankind's need to worship something, whether that be a physical object or whether that be a politician, whether that be a religious leader. We need to worship something. That seems to be what it's trying to say. So when you combine that with the primitive nature that man has been stripped down to, the inhuman nature, you get conflict. And on both sides of this conflict, you have this same sort of manipulation of religion in order to get the citizens behind them to do what they want so that the people in charge can rule. So it seems to be saying that no matter who you have as a leader, the cycle is going to repeat itself, and that whoever is in charge ultimately is irrelevant because they're all manipulating their masses in order to serve their own power-hungry battles, essentially. And there's a quote from a PBS documentary on Napoleon. Napoleon is quoted as having said something along the lines that he doesn't believe in God, but God is useful in controlling the masses. And that's what both sides of this conflict do in Dune Part 2. What's also interesting is that the leaders don't just do it to their citizens. I don't want to get into spoilers, but it's familial as well. There's parental characters that do that to children characters, and that's not to say necessarily that parents do it, but better way to put it, mentorship figures do it to their mentees. So it's not just at the high levels and the low levels, it's in between. It's every layer of the society on each side of the conflict is manipulating their masses in the same way. So it's really masterful in crafting that. I didn't do a great job explaining it, but if you see the movie, it's handled really, really well. On a technical level, there's nothing to fault it. I mean, it has perfect sound design, literally perfect sound design. Great musical composition. I meant to look up who composed the music and I forgot. It sounds like Hans Zimmer, but I don't think it is. But it sounds like him. Visually, it's amazing, of course. It's a Hollywood blockbuster, of course. Cinematography is amazing. But yeah, that's my first impression of it. I recommend it to anyone as long as you're not expecting it to be Star Wars or Star Trek, because typically when people think sci-fi, they think those two series, and then they end up seeing something like Arrival, and then the movie gets, review bombed on IMDb or something, and people don't go see it anymore. So just know what you're getting into. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, it's this guy. It's a masterpiece. So those are my thoughts. I am going to edit this video, go to bed.